But before we get there, and before we talk about, okay, how do we arrive at that situation? I'd like to just explore briefly. If we go back a step, so if we go back to the point where, I'm working for Commander Charlotte, and I feel unhappy, I feel unfulfilled, I've got no sense of purpose, all the rest of it. What should I do? In what way am I empowered to make a change? Should I leave and go somewhere else? Should I moan? Should I come and have a conversation with you? What should I do?
This is another one where I think it depends on what your goal is in that situation. If you like the place where you work and you like everything about what you're doing, or most of what you're doing,
Yeah.
except the style of your leader, then I definitely think the place to start is by having a conversation with them.
Right.
And you can do that in your one-to-one, or you can set up a separate conversation if you think it's something that's going to take a lot of time and you want to give it the time that it deserves. And that is a conversation you definitely want to be well prepared for and well planned. Do not, under any circumstances, try to have that conversation off the cuff, because it's going to be emotive, right? You have feelings in this case. And if you haven't planned what you want to say carefully, the chances of it being received in a way that gets you the response that you want are going to be much smaller. That said, if you're in a situation and there's lots of other things going on, and it's not just this manager that's a problem, then maybe, yes, the right thing to do is leave. I would never say, it's never the right thing to do to leave a job. I would just say that I think our brains can have a tendency to go there very quickly when we're unhappy. It's like, well, fine, I'll just quit.
Yeah.
But there's often circumstances in which you can make things a lot better and stay where you are. And actually, if your ambition is to be a leader yourself, the personal growth and the skills that you are going to develop by having that more difficult conversation with your manager, by making a plan to make things different, by building that resilience, is going to put you in such a stronger position in future, whether you stay in that company or not.
Yeah.
So I would usually encourage people to give it a go, try to make it better where you are, because even if that fails, you're going to have got the value of having learned how to do that.
Got it. And you touched on it there. If you've got, Commander Charlotte, who is unemotive and doesn't understand people's feelings and the softer side of managing people, if you go into that conversation with emotion and sort of feeling, it's not going to compute, and there'll be a bridge, and you'll come out of it worse. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will be probably a very frustrating conversation for you, because yes, they may not understand what you're coming from, and why you're asking for what you're asking. And if they are truly someone who is much more logically driven than emotively driven, or potentially they're someone who's on the spectrum,
Yep.
then if you try to explain something to them in purely emotional language, they aren't necessarily going to understand it, and they're probably, or well, they are more likely to reject your feedback as being unimportant because they don't properly understand it.
Got it. So again, maybe we'll dive into that a bit later, but if I am, let's put me in that situation where I am emotive and I've got this boss who is unemotive. I guess it's me that needs to change, or I need to adapt. I need to prepare myself in a certain way to communicate. I can't expect Commander Charlotte to change for me. I need to change, right? When I have that conversation.
When you have that conversation, you definitely want to be thinking about matching Commander Charlotte's style as much as possible.
Yeah. Sorry to
In
pick on
that
you, by the way,
conversation,
Commander Charlotte.
in that conversation, you can also, you absolutely can make a request of the commander to change the way they're behaving. You're going to want to be very explicit about what you ask them to do, so that they can sort of almost follow your direct instructions.
Got it.
But you're also right that just because we request a change from somebody does not necessarily mean that they're going to comply.
Yeah.
So there is also a piece that sits with you, and that is about deciding if you wish to change the way you respond in this circumstance.
Yeah.
If you make the request and they say, no, it's not going to happen, or they say it's going to happen and then it doesn't, it's then up to you to decide, as the person who is in charge of and responsible for your own experience, do I wish to respond differently? And therefore, do I wish to change the way I think about this situation so that it feels differently to me? Or is my response to having my request denied that I want to remove myself from the situation?
Yeah. And I would imagine that the worst thing that I can do is either have that conversation or not, but then walk around my team telling everybody how bad it is and moaning and dragging everybody else down with me, because maybe it's only me that is experiencing this. So to go out and be toxic is absolutely the worst thing that I could do.
It is, not only because it impacts the experience of everybody else around you, but also, quite frankly, that's going to be the worst experience you can possibly
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by all means, have a complain with a good friend or a partner or something, get it out of your system.
Mm-hmm.
But continually sitting and ruminating on everything that is wrong, I mean, the only thing that is guaranteed to do is make you feel terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.